Hi, thought I'd give you some guidelines in relation to the timed assignment. The timed assignment is the second assessed element of the module, the first one being the literature review, and as such, structurally, it's very straightforward. It's a 2-hour unseen exam, and you are expected to answer 2 questions in relation to as part of the exam. Okay, so if you were being very systematic, you would say an hour for each question. Now, I mentioned the word unseen in the what I just said. You will not see the questions beforehand. However, my personal take on exams is such that I recognise that all modules have to have a controlled element within them to ensure that it's you that's doing the work, as it were, and as such they have a place. What I'm not overly enthusiastic about is simply requiring people to memorise material, and not only memorise material but memorise vast amounts of material in the hope that they can regurgitate that in an exam context. And for that reason, what I've always done on the module is provide you with a list of topics from which the questions will be drawn. So you have to answer 2 questions and you will have a choice of 6. And I've posted on Blackboard the 6 topic areas from which the questions will be drawn. And they are team psychology. And for team psychology, read group psychology, mental toughness, reversal theory, self-efficacy, mental health and exercise, and behaviour change and exercise. So 6 questions, and you have to answer 2. You will note there that the last 2 questions are exercise related. This is a standard format that we use, in that 4 sport related topic areas, 2 exercise related topic areas. Okay, so you will be able to see what the topics are, and on the basis of that you can make a decision. The decision you might make is, well, I'll revise 3 topic areas in order that when I see the question paper I've got a choice. I can choose the one that best matches my revision strategy and the information that I can bring forth. It may be, and my suspicion is that the more popular option is you simply learn 2 topic areas in some depth. It's fine, it doesn't really, one, I don't know, I wouldn't know from what you write which strategy you use, but those would seem to me to be the 2 most probable strategies, the latter one being the one that probably most people go for. Okay, so you've chosen your topic areas. The question then is, I suppose, well, what are the expectations? Well, one of the expectations is, because you've been given the topic area, one of the expectations is that you're going to have to demonstrate that you've read widely around that topic area. It's not going to be enough simply to rely on lecture notes and summary sheets to get through the exam. It's possible that you might get away with that. It's unlikely. So there's an expectation at this level, at level 3, that you read around the topic area. And when you're doing that, think critically. Think, what are the pros and cons? What are the arguments for and against? Where in the research is there disagreements, disharmony, the differences, those kinds of things. So, as with most work at this level, the more evidence that you can supply both of wider reading and of critical thought, however this, in contrast, and those kinds of phrases, the more more likely it is that you're going to produce a good quality answer, that you're actually confirming to the reader that here is someone who understands this topic area, who has understood the question, I'll come back to that in a moment, and who has thought critically about it. He's able to draw upon research from different areas in order to demonstrate that critical thinking. So coming back to that notion of answering the question, it's not enough simply to see your topic area and say, okay, mental toughness has come up, for example, and write everything you know about mental toughness. There are no trick questions contained within the exam. However, the questions will be slightly nuanced to examine a particular area from within that topic. So it isn't enough simply to learn all there is and just regurgitate it. Think about what the question's asking. Spend 4 or 5 minutes at the beginning, and you may do this already. Spend 4 or 5 minutes just pausing, getting your breathing under control, saying, okay, what is this question asking now? What information, how am I going to structure my answer in order that I can demonstrate that I'm answering that question? So that's something about just pause when you see the question, think about what it's asking. Another question that often comes up is, well, what about referencing? Am I expected to reference? Well, yes, you are expected to provide evidence that not only do you understand the theory and the research around this area, but you have some awareness of who has said what. Now, in terms of references, we're not looking at full references, books, journal article titles, and so on and so forth. Simply name and date. And that's an expectation. As you move up the academic ladder from level 1 to level 3 and then maybe to postgraduate, you are going to be expected, increasingly expected, to be able to support the points you are making with evidence from the literature. And at level 3, this exam, it's no exception. A follow-up question might be, I can imagine something, well, how many? Well, how long is a piece of string? I think it is very difficult as someone who marks these papers and to say, well, 10 or 2. It is about balance. If there are none in there, then what you risk is that your answer becomes somehow anecdotal. Who said that? I mean, you might be making some really, really good points, but at this level, at this academic level, you're expected to support the points you are making. So, I mean, I think there are some, not tricks, but there are some easy ways to sort of get a handle on that kind of process. If you're looking into an area and there are certain models that are involved, then learn who created, who devised, where the models originated from, and take it from there. So those would be important. Who are the major theorists, or who are the major researchers in this area? Learn who they are. And remember, it's only 2 questions. It's not as if you've got to remember hundreds of these things. It's 2 questions. So, what we've covered so far, what the structure is, 6 options, choose 2 questions, 2 hours. How are you going to address the questions? Well, pause, look at the subtle nuances of what exactly is it the question is asking. Plan out what you're going to do. Draw upon, and in your preparation and revision, ensure that you have some idea of major theoretical stroke research perspectives in the area, and ensure that you can support at least some of the points, or most of the points you make, with name and date, with references. Up to date. Try and ensure that they're up to date. Now, whilst this is no guarantee of you getting a good mark, if you address all the issues I've talked about so far, the likelihood is you're going to get a good mark. If you omit all that stuff and don't plan it out and don't support it, then it's not a guarantee of failure, but it's possible that you're going to be borderline. Okay. Now let me just think if there's anything else I can think of in relation to it. In the subsequent lectures that lead up to the end of term, I will be taking Q&A in relation to the exam if there's anything I've not covered. I think I've covered the majority of what I need to cover in relation to it. So I hope this has been helpful. Cheers.